Around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs begin to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before you're bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Jerry, I want you to say what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
Week 7, boys and girls, and if you look at this slate, it is by far the best slate yet. College football is kicking into gear. We have multiple top 10 matchups, multiple top 25 matchups, and you have Newman, the man genius, here to tell us everything he knows, and then you have me giving you the bets to get it right. Newman, I am absolutely stoked for this week. I think this is the best week yet.
This is an amazing week of college football. There's so many good matchups. There's so many good matchups that we couldn't even fit all the good matchups on our slate here of the 11 games that we're going to pick. I know I've been picking off a few extras for our 2-minute drill, but this week's 2-minute drill has actual games that you're like, wait, that game's not, part of it. It's insane here. So
speaking of being insane,
tons of really good games.
Speaking of insane this year, I don't have the read receipts to put up on the screen, but this is real, guys. You have Trevor and I neck and neck at 39-1, and you have Newman at 35-35. If you are 35-35, you are guaranteed to make money. And if you are 39-31, you are absolutely bankrolling. That is what you guys have in this show you are about to watch. Yeah. So that is definitely a humble brag, but I had to throw that in here because if you followed this show for multiple years, Newman, we haven't done this good. Historically, we have not been this good.
I think I did pretty well last year.
All right, speak for yourself. I have not done this good. This is by far the best I've done. And you know what? We're gonna start things off in Big Ten country, which is right where I reside, and it's with a team I watched in person last week. We're starting off with big noon Fox football. Number 10 Penn State traveling to Ann Arbor. Number 5 Michigan spotting Penn State 7 points with an over under of 50-5. And Newman, there's going to be a theme to this week, and it's going to be quarterback versus quarterback. And it doesn't get any more blatant than in this matchup. You have the freshman sensation Singleton for Penn State. You have the senior stalwart in Blake Corum. You have an absolute NFL lock in wide receiver Ronnie Bell for Michigan. But for me, this comes down to quarterback play. This is Clifford, the big red dog, who has failed Penn State over and over and over again versus NFL lock J.J. McCarthy. Give me J.J. McCarthy to cover the 7 points for Michigan.
So I think this game's going to be really low scoring. Both these teams have really good defenses, and you mentioned Ronnie Bell, but covering Ronnie Bell most likely is going to be first round NFL talent, Joey Porter Jr. Are you familiar with Joey Porter? Have you ever heard of him?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
So
I
his
love
son
JP.
is going to be the guy probably drawing that matchup there, and I'll take Joey Porter in that respect. Clifford is a senior, like a 6-year senior, or I don't know how many years he's been.
He's
there.
a COVID senior. He's a 6-year COVID senior. Yep.
So honestly, when Penn State has had him, they've been really good. And just 7 points is too many here. It's very possible and likely that Michigan wins this game.
An upset?
It's very likely that Michigan wins this game, but 7 points is way too many, and I will take that 7 points. I also think that there is a chance that they can pull an upset, but James Franklin tends to kind of blow these kinds of games in that respect. So that's why I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket. If he was a better kind of in-game manager and had some sleeves up his or tricks up his sleeve, then I would take him to win outright. But for now, I'll just take that 7 points and take it to the bank.
Yeah. No, James Franklin is absolutely trash coach. Great recruited trash coach. And it all comes down to JJ McCarthy. I couldn't be more down on Clifford the Big Red Dog. Let's jump
We
to
know. We know.
we know it is habitual here on this show. Let's jump down to the SEC, where Auburn has cost me some money this year. They are traveling to the Grove at number 9, Ole Miss, and guess what? The Lane Kiffin boys have it rolling. They are 15-point dogs. They are the biggest spread we are covering today. One of the best names in football, Newman. Jackson Dart is slinging. Auburn is 1-5 against the spread, and Ole Miss scores twice the amount of points as Auburn. This isn't my lock of the day, but it's pretty dang close. I think Ole Miss rolls.
The one thing that gives me pause about this game is it is quite a lot of points. Ole Miss hasn't necessarily played awesome football, but they have played well enough to win. That's why they are ranked number 9 there. However, in this game, I think that they kind of hit on all cylinders. Auburn's just bad, man. They're a bad football team. Brian Harson's probably going to get fired possibly this week. There's no reason really to continue to ride that out at this point. So, yeah, I totally am on the side with you here, Ole Miss. In fact, Trevor's also going to be with it. And by the way, just to get Trevor's pick in for the first game, he's with me taking Penn State in the points in that first game.
Well, at least you'll get one right with the Ole Miss bet. Let's jump to the Big 12, which honestly, I crap on the Big 12 on this show a lot. And honestly, the Big 12 has probably been the most entertaining conference all year.
Been a lot of fun.
Been a lot of fun in the Big 12 this year. And I think we got number 19 Kansas traveling to Norman. And somehow, some way, the Sooners are 9-point favorites with an over-under of 62.5. I come from a basketball school. Love basketball schools. I love basketball. If you follow our college basketball show, you know I'm right here with you the whole way, and I am not giving up on my Rock Chalk J Hawks. They are undefeated against the spread. And Jalen Daniels is a dog. And OU is a shit show. So give me Kansas +9. I don't have the cojones to pick them as my upset special, but I'm going to take 9 points all day. Are you still hanging with Boomer Sooner, Newman?
So actually, there's a good chance that Jalen Daniels doesn't play in this game. However,
Oh no.
As he got hurt last week and entered, I believe his name is Jake Bean is his last name. That I know for sure.
You know my relationship with Beans.
And threw 4 touchdown passes. So no real loss there. Looked pretty good. The thing about Kansas is that they're excellent at designing runs and taking advantage of mismatches. And if you've watched Oklahoma this year, you understand that their defense gives a lot of mismatches. So Kansas is going to be able to exploit that. They're going to be able to cover the 9 points here, even on the road. I do expect Dylan Gabriel back for Oklahoma. Good thing for them because their backup quarterback was absolutely awful last week against Texas. That's why they got shut out. But yeah, at this point, I just don't know that Oklahoma is going to be able to stop Kansas from scoring. And 9 points is way too many because you're nearly giving me a touchdown, a field goal in that, even with Jake Bean or whoever Bean at quarterback for Kansas. I'm going to take the Jayhawks there. Trevor is on Oklahoma. So, you know, that means it's pretty likely for us to cover with Kansas.
Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk. Absolutely love it. All right, let's jump back to the Big Ten where we have Minnesota traveling to Champaign. A surprise in Illinois, losing to my Hoosiers in week 1 and haven't lost yet. Chase Brown is absolutely an NFL running back. The Illinois defense looks really, really good. And if you've listened to the show long enough, you know I hate Tommy DeVito.
PJ Fleck.
The only person I hate more than Tommy DeVito is PJ Fleck and Tanner Morgan. So I am taking Illinois to continue their winning streak of 5 in a row. They're going to make it 6 in a row. This is my upset special. I'm for this sake, I'm taking the 6.5, but I'm also taking Illinois to win against the clown that rows the boat.
So I took Illinois last week to win outright against Wisconsin, and it hit. I've been on with Illinois. I think their defense is really good. However, I also called Minnesota to win the Big Ten West, which I think that they still will do. But the reason that I think that they're going to win the Big Ten West is because your boy Tommy DeVito is probably not going to play in this game. Unfortunately for Illinois, that means that Artur Sitowski is going to play. And if you know anything about Artur Sitowski, every time he gets in the game, he throws an interception. He played
4-star quarterback out of IMG Academy, the highest rated quarterback recruit Rutgers has ever had. He sucked at Rutgers.
That's why he now plays at Illinois, and he's no good. So he's probably playing for Illinois here, and for that reason, I'm on the Gophers. I still think that they have, good quarterback, running back, wide receiver trio. Their defense is really good. They're able to run the ball. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game, which is why the over-under is only at 39.5. But give me Minnesota to cover because Artur Sikowski probably throws an interception or two and fumbles or something like that, giving advantage to Minnesota, extra possession. And
you can go for F yourself. Let's go to the game of the day here. Number 3, Alabama against number 6, Tennessee. Tennessee are your boys, Newman.
I've been on that Hendon Hooker train, dude. I think that he's a Heisman candidate, and he absolutely should be in the Heisman conversation. So if you hear somebody talk about the Heisman and they don't mention him, then they're wrong, and you shouldn't listen to anything else that they have to say. But they are facing against, most likely, Bryce Young is supposed to play for Alabama. Alabama's really good. However, this game is being played at Tennessee. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take the Volunteers, getting the 7 points there. I'm not saying they're going to win that game.
Not for the win.
But I'll take those points at home. I think that they're good enough to keep it close. Alabama hasn't necessarily been super crisp. They haven't been crock-potting people like they normally do, where, they just run, and then they wind up exploiting, just opening up the running lanes later in the game and are absolutely dominating and pull away. I don't think that happens here against Tennessee. They're too good. Their offense is too good. They're going to be able to put up some points. And at least keep it close. There is a chance they win this game. I don't hate the idea of throwing down a little bit of money line action on Tennessee, but I'm going to take the points right here.
Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. You know what? IU played Tennessee in a bowl game, and Newman, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a real quick story here. The Tennessee fans were an absolute delight at the bar. They were an absolute delight during the tailgate, and then they turned into absolute heathens during the game. It was probably the meanest crowd I've ever been at. That's why I am taking Bama. I'm just kidding. I'm taking Bama because Bryce Young is a stud. I'm taking them because they have one of the best running backs of the year, and I'm taking Alabama because Tennessee just always disappoints. Death, taxes, and Tennessee disappointing in a big game. That's ultimately the reason why I'm going roll damn Tide. This game's going to be amazing. It's a 3:30 kickoff. It unfortunately kicks off at the same time IU plays, so it's going to be tough to watch. But
just going to let you know, Trevor also was on Minnesota with me, and he is on Tennessee here, taking the points. So looks like Trevor.
This is the most I've disagreed with Trevor, which means this is the week I pull away from him. Let's jump back.
He pulls away from you. One of the two happens, or you guys middle it and I catch up.
Someone has to mid off. All right, let's jump back to the Big 12, which, again, guys, this week is bananas. Like, this would have been the best game last week. This would have been probably the best game the week before. We have number 8 Oklahoma State versus number 13 TCU. This is at best the third or fourth game this week. And again, it's another quarterback battle. We just talked about Hendon Hooker. We just talked about Bryce Young. But you have Sanders versus Dugan. Dugan has been an absolute shock. TCU was not supposed to be good at all, yet they're favored. They are 4-point favorites hosting the Cowboys with an over-under of 68.5. I'm done picking against TCU. I've picked against TCU more times than I should have, and I'm done. I'm absolutely done. The Horned Frogs, I'm on their bandwagon. The Cowboys can score a ton of points, but you know what? There's something going on in TCU, Newman, and I don't know, and I'm following it.
So I think Oklahoma State had a couple injuries last week in their secondary, which is not good news when playing against TCU because they have a dynamic passing offense. Max Duggan is also a Heisman candidate. I think you can get him at plus 100 to 1 or something right now. So it's not a bad little odds if you want to throw down a little cash on that. Probably not likely, but who cares if it's a couple dollars? But yeah, anyway. So Max Duggan, I think, will play well. I think that their wide receivers are pretty dynamic for TCU, and I do expect them to win and cover the 4 points thanks to the Oklahoma State secondary having some issues there.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be great. I'm not going to watch a single second of this game because
You'll watch a little bit of it. I bet you watch a little bit of it.
As Newman said, you got to have two TVs. I only have 2 TVs in my house, so I'm going to be watching IU versus Maryland and Alabama, Tennessee. I won't have any time to watch this game, and I'm going to be very mad. Let's jump to the ACC. It's the first time we've talked about the ACC today because it's honestly the worst conference. We have Newman's boy Leary going into the dome, the Carrier Dome, the intimidating dome. Nah, I'm just fucking kidding. Leary can't lose in the dome, not to Syracuse. NC State's only 2-4 against the spread, but look who Syracuse has played. They've played absolutely nobody. I look at IU's who they've played, then I look at who the Orangemen have played, and it's laughable. Absolutely laughable. NC State is battle tested. Syracuse is not. This is another underdog that I am hammering money line. Give me the Wolfpack to win in the Carrier Dome.
So you're right. Devin Leary is not going to lose this game because he's not going to play. So in the game against Florida State last week,
I really need to get an injury report, Newman.
Yeah, Devin Leary got knocked out, and they called a ridiculous roughing the passer call on an absolutely clean hit that wound up extending the drive, and NC State wound up kicking a field goal or scoring a touchdown or something. But yeah, and that wound up costing Florida State the game. But after that point, when the backup took over, he did not complete a single pass. So yeah, I find it hard to believe that NC State is going to be able to run an effective offense against Syracuse. Their secondary is actually pretty good. Their offense is a lot of run game, quarterback run, especially with Thomas Schrader. But they have pretty good running backs. So I expect them to win this game at home. No Devin Leary, no chance for NC State, although their defense is really good.
He's day to day, Newman. He's day to day.
Yeah, but if you actually saw the hit that he took, it does not look like he's going to play. His arm was in a sling after the fact. So yeah, I don't expect Devin Leary to play in this game. That being the case, I think the under is a decent play here, under 42. But give me Syracuse covering the 3.5 points. Trevor is with me on the Syracuse. I don't know if he knows about the Devin Leary injury or not. Maybe he was just taking all my picks because it seems like that's for the most part what he's done.
He has seemed to copy you. We're going to cover about 27 seconds on this game. James Madison's undefeated. I'm taking JMU because it's a great story. And also their quarterback stats are absolutely insane, and they're 5-0 against the spread.
Yeah, I'm also on JMU. Trevor's on JMU. Georgia Southern is not great.
They beat Nebraska. They literally got Scott Frost fired.
Yes, but they're playing, a different level or a different style offense than they were previously. They were running the triple, but now with Helton in there from former USC coach. Yep. They've switched to an actual passing game, but Nebraska's defense couldn't stop a cold. James Madison's is better. So I'm going to take James Madison here to cover the 12 points.
Isn't that weird to say? James Madison's defense is better than Nebraska.
Yeah, that's tell somebody that 5 years ago. So yeah, we're all on JMU here.
Sweet. Let's jump to kind of a snore fest. I don't think anyone cares about this game. Just kidding. Number
No one
four,
cares.
number 4, Clemson going to Tallahassee, where the home team is 3.5-point dogs with an over/under of 51. Newman, it ain't quite been a decade, but 6 years straight for the Clemson Tigers. That defense has got to scare you. I know Ward's good. I know your thoughts on Travis. I'm taking the under. I think the under is a slam dunk. I think this is a slog of a game. I think the hook is scary. Out of all the games here, I do think this is a 3-point game. I think Clemson could very easily win this game by a field goal. But I'm going to take the hook. I think this game is 24-20 Clemson. But I think you're going to have a great one in Tallahassee
Yeah,
tomorrow night.
I mean, so taking all bias out of the equation, Florida State's offense has struggled the last couple weeks, especially at least in one half. Trayshawn Ward did get hurt. I don't expect him to play in this game. Clemson has looked good offensively. Their defense is one of the best units in the country. So I'm taking Clemson here. Trevor's taking Clemson. You're taking Clemson. We're all on Clemson. Florida State, in order to win this game, is probably going to have to throw the ball around, which they're capable of doing. Johnny Wilson can play better. They had 6 or 7 drops for Jordan Travis last week. Wound up costing Florida State the game. So if they can catch the ball this week and hit some explosive plays against that Clemson secondary, that is the weakness of their defense, is their secondary. The front seven's insane, though. So I don't expect Florida State to be able to run the ball really well. So maybe some Jordan Travis run game gives him a chance here, and then hitting some shots.
How's he run with that brace?
The brace is off.
Brace is off.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards rushing last week when they ran him. So the brace is off. He's fine in terms of that. The real question is, the rest of the offensive line when he has to pass, and can Mike Norvell and crew dial up some shots? It's possible. There's a chance. But Florida State's going to have to take some risks to win this game. So Florida State either wins this game or they lose by double digits. There's no in between. I don't think that they're able to cover like a close game spread here. Clemson's, I think, too good for that, but we'll see. For the pick, I'm going to take Clemson, and with my heart, I'm going to take Florida State.
Of course, you freaking got to. Let's jump back to the SEC. Back down to God's country, we have Mike Leach and company, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, going to Cat Country, Lexington, Kentucky, where the home team is 4-point underdogs. They're getting +4 with an over/under of 49. Newman, the Cats are broken. I'm done on the Cats. The quarterback for Miss State, Rogers, he fits that system really, really well. My second lock of the day, I already gave one lock of the day, so I got to give a second lock of the day because honestly, I love this. The over/under of 49. Mississippi State might score that by themselves. But ultimately, the story on this one is I'm out on UK. I'm not out on Purdue yet, sadly. They don't have a game that's relevant this week, but IU faithful will be happy to hear I am full out on the Wildcats.
So we're all in agreement here that Mississippi State is going to win and cover the 4 points here. Kentucky, I'm pretty sure Will Levis didn't even play last week. There's a chance that he doesn't play this week. That's too much of a risk. Their backup quarterback isn't any good. Levis kind of elevates them a little bit. But even if that is the case, the Kentucky offense is it's hit or miss. Their offensive line is an issue for them. And Mississippi State's defensive front is really good. So it's kind of, can they hit some deep shots to keep it close? That's about it. Whereas Mississippi State is going to control the clock. If you don't know, Mike Leach formerly was employed at Mississippi State, where he was the offensive coordinator way back in the day. So this is kind of a revenge game for him. But yeah, I expect Mississippi State to win this game. I expect them to cover the 4, and we're all on that as well.
Yep. Sweep City. All right. Well, we have to cover this game because it's the best game, and it's kind of going to decide the whole thing. Newman.
One of the most important games for sure.
Correct. Number 7 USC traveling to the beautiful campus, the beautiful stadium of number 20 Utah, where Utah is a 3.5-point favorite with a monster, an absolute monster over under of 65 points. You basically have Caleb Williams versus Cam Rising. This is going to be a blast. I'm hoping to be sober enough after Big Noon and after Alabama, Tennessee.
The long day ahead of us.
It is going to be very hard to stay coherent for this game, but I'm giving myself a chance. I love this game. This game is the second hardest game. I think Florida State, Clemson was the hardest. I think this is the second hardest. This is my third game in my underdog parlay. If any of you guys follow what I do for the NFL, I take 3 underdogs, and this is my third underdog of the day. I think USC wins this game outright, but I think it's close. I think it's a last-second field goal, or I think it's a sub-2-minute touchdown. I think this game is insanely close. Give me the Trojans in possibly the game of the year. It could be.
So why don't you give us that whole underdog parlay there altogether?
Yeah, so I have USC winning. I have NC State winning. And I have, who is my last game up here real quick? I don't have Kansas winning. Shoot.
Illinois?
Yes, Illinois beating Minnesota. So yeah, I have Illinois, I have NC State, and I have USC all winning. Okay. Correct. Thank you, Newman.
Yeah. All right. So Trevor is on USC. No surprise there. He picked USC to go to the playoff, I believe. You were also on USC to go far, maybe even make the playoff. I don't remember exactly. So no surprise there. I had Utah making the playoff. Last week was a little discouraging for me. I'm not going to lie, losing to UCLA like that. However, I think that probably eliminates them from the playoff conversation, but it does not eliminate them from the Pac-12 conversation. It's still a tough place to play. It's going to be a night game, obviously. Rowdy crowd. USC's soft, man. They're still soft. Their defense is not very good.
That's why the over-under is what it is.
They've gotten a little bit lucky in terms of some turnover luck. And that is what has kept them undefeated. In all honesty, they've struggled against Washington State and Oregon State, and Utah's a better team than them. This game is not going to be. I think that UCLA was a little bit of a bad matchup for Utah, and I don't think USC is in the same respect. I think Utah's going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to throw the ball with Cam Rising, and I just don't. I think at some point USC's luck runs out. So I'm going to take it here happening at Utah. I'm going to take Utah to win this game outright, cover the 3.5 points. But I expect this to be an excellent game to watch. So definitely buckle up, strap in, take a 5-hour energy or a Red Bull or whatever else you need to do. Maybe some skiing or something in order to be able to watch this game later. But yeah, definitely want to put this on your TV and check it out, because it is going to define kind of what happens in college football out west this year. But give me the Utes at home, knocking off USC.
So I hate the Leary news. I absolutely hate the Leary news. If you keep NC State in there, it's 1781. But if you lose NC State, which honestly, I can't go back and forth because I got to stay honest to the show. But if you lose NC State and just go Illinois, USC, you still get plus 700. So like,
it's not bad.
That's not bad. It's plus 668, but like,
yeah,
essentially plus 700. So Illinois, USC is actually what I'm going to be parlaying, because Newman scared me off of NC State. So, all right, Newman.
So here's the thing: the bookmakers still, they knew that Devin Leary was going to be out when they set that line. So that tells you all you need to know about Syracuse. Like you said, they haven't necessarily played great competition. NC State's front seven is really good. Their linebacking core is probably all going to play in the NFL. Their front, the rest of their defensive line is really good too. So there is a chance that they can just shut down the run and win that game somehow. But I don't know. It's less likely without Devin Leary, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah, I think I may be full out on NC State. If you guys haven't been following this show, if you guys haven't been watching to the end, there's been no more locks than the Newman 2-minute drill. Newman, we just crossed the 30-minute mark. So you have 2 minutes on the clock. On your mark, ready, set, go.
Yeah, so Iowa State at Texas. Texas is laying 16.5 points at home. Quinn Ewers is back. They look like a different team with him. They absolutely bombed Oklahoma last week, and I expect that to kind of continue. Iowa State's quarterback can't play, so I will take Texas, lay the 16.5 points. LSU at UF. LSU's basically dominated this series the last several years. I expect that to continue. Jaden Daniels has actually been pretty good at quarterback. And UF is laying 2.5 points. So give me LSU and the points on the road. Hopefully there doesn't have to be any shoes thrown in this game in order for them to cover. But UF has trouble stopping the run, and LSU is capable of doing that. UNC at Duke. Duke has not really played any good passing offenses. So give me USC and Drake May to light the scoreboard up against them. I'll take UNC, lay the 7 points. San Jose State at Fresno State. Your boy Jake Haener is not expected to play in this game. So give me San Jose State to cover the 8.5 points. And then Wisconsin at Michigan State. Michigan State is, I believe they're a 7-point dog. And in that case, I will take Wisconsin to lay the 7 points because Michigan State secondary is awful. Graham Mertz, I know you don't like him, but I think
Michigan State's trash. Michigan State is such trash
against that defense. So give me Wisconsin, lay the 7, and there you have it.
Yeah, no, that's out of all of your entire 2-minute drill, that was your best one. Michigan State is falling apart mostly because they don't have a quarterback and they don't have a coach, which last time I checked is pretty dang important. Newman, it's a pleasure. I missed you last week. You carried it all by yourself. I hope I was able to provide some help this week. I love my picks. I can't wait to lock in some bets with you. I think we're both going to win a lot of money this weekend. Everyone, we will be back this time next week. I haven't looked at week 8, but it's going to be hard to top this week. So Go sit on that couch, crack open your beers, lock in your bets, and we'll see you next week.
Go Noles.
Who?